Today I'm going to show you how to pretty much automate anything on the web using really powerful nodes inside n8n. I've built hundreds of automations and systems at this point, and what I've seen happen over and over again is people overcomplicating themselves by using HTTP requests when there are nodes that already do the heavy lifting for you, especially for beginners. Whether you want to scrape LinkedIn information, automate outreach, extract product information, or even enrich content with research URLs, these nodes allow you to do this pretty easily. So I'm going to show you in this video how to set them up within minutes so it can save you lots of time. So let's dive right in. All right, so the first one that we have here is called AirTop. And AirTop is essentially an AI browser automation platform. And you're able to leverage these AI agents that have control of a browser. So you're able to do certain things that are usually not available within HTTP requests, right? Whenever you call a service such as Google, perhaps Canva as well, there's not much freedom when it comes to the actions that you can take within that API. So with this, you can pretty much bypass all of that, right? So let me take you through the platform. So once you log in or signed up, you can enter a URL over here and you can perform certain tasks within that site, right? And you see a few examples here, but I'm not going to touch on these. If you go to this other site, it's going to show you n8n specific examples. So things that I find a bit more valuable are commenting on posts, for example, right? Doing the outreach, doing the engagement. AirTop is really good for that, right? Because I feel like AirTop is great for interacting with websites whenever you're going to do tasks that humans would do, right? When it comes to scraping and all that, I guess it's great when there are no other platforms that are able to do it. That's when this comes handy, right? But there are other platforms that I'll show you next that are much more powerful at scraping. And yeah, if you can't do them with those, then of course AirTop comes really handy. But I'd say this is more for automating tasks that humans would do, such as clicking things, typing things inside a platform and whatnot, right? So let me give you a really quick example so that you can see the node in action. So we have this spreadsheet over here, right? So we have my name here. We have the CEO of NVIDIA, LangChain, and whatnot. And what we're doing here is, well, we're going to ask the agent to search this on Google and then for it to retrieve their corresponding LinkedIn URLs, right? This is just a quick example so that you see how this works in action. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So let's test the workflow and we should get the LinkedIn URLs for most of them at least. Right. So we see here that it finished doing pretty much the automation. It didn't get the co-founder of Andreessen Horowitz. So it seems like perhaps he didn't have a, that's Mark Benoff. He probably didn't have a LinkedIn account, or perhaps the co-founder query was a bit too vague, but nevertheless, it pulled out the other ones, and you could imagine doing this with many more, pieces of information, right? But yeah, so let's have a look at what happened. So we pulled out names, right? The information, not the names. It was vague. And then we asked it to create a session in order to extract some information, right? So it did this all within the browser. We told it to go to Google and then pretty much search all of these different inputs. And then we gave it the following prompt, right? So nothing crazy, but just showing you how it works. And now I'm going to show you an example here, okay, of something a bit more involved, okay, that pretty much could mimic how humans interact with the computer a bit better, right? So on a form submission, I'm not going to run it because I think I'm running out of credits, but essentially we have a prompt, we put in the prompt and then we put the profile name. Essentially, you could see that you could turn this into a set of actions, right? You saw that over here, you have a prompt interface right here. So you could put these prompts into a column and then run this from here, for example, and it will be able to perform the task for you, okay? I've tried it and the reality is that For some tasks it works, for some it doesn't. The point is that you give it a shot and you see what tasks are able to be automated with this, right? And as I said, this is like the last resort to get you, some action done or whatever, right? I'd rather try simpler APIs. And if there's no way and you need like human-like interaction, like similar, interaction similar to a human being, then you would go for this. Because with this, you're able to click, type, search something. It's pretty powerful. And then it would notify me on Telegram. It's pretty powerful. So I tried this, I think, for LinkedIn outreach, and it did well. It did well. But yeah, anyways, let's go on to the next one. Right, so now we have Firecrawl over here. And Firecrawl is a big one because it allows us to turn any website, right, the contents of the website, into a format that is easier to understand for LLMs. So we can process that information into LLMs and pretty much do anything that we want. So the format is called Markdown, and it's the format that you see over here as well. Format that we use inside sticky notes inside n8n as well. So you see all these kind of asterisks, and as well the hashtags here. That this stands for an H2, which is a header 2, right? So that's below the main header. So this would be a main header here. Then we have a second header, which will be written in a smaller manner. Then we have header 3 or H3, and then we can keep going as well. So if you see that, might need to actually space those, and we can see how it gets sized differently, right? So that's the format that we're kind of passing, well, this one, the format that we're passing onto LLMs after we have scraped the dirty looking website data. So I'm going to show you quickly what I mean. So we could inspect over here, and within this, right, over these elements here, we're able to see how this website is built, right? We have all these div blocks, we had a head element, right, and all this. So we're essentially turning this into, let's go here, into this kind of format, right? So you're going to see it right now. Let's go into the Firecrawl scraper, and let's go ahead and scrape the BBC website. So you might have tried it yourself. You might have tried scraping stuff yourself. But you can see here now that we have these nice looking lines, which the LLMs are going to appreciate a lot. We have these asterisks that we mentioned before as well. And it just looks nicer, right? And apart from that as well, and this is what I was saying, right? Turn websites into LLM-ready data. We can do other things as well apart from scraping. We can extract information from specific places. So let me see what we can do. So perhaps here, we can use a crawler, right? You can use multiple URLs and web pages, right? Not only one. And what we can do as well is extract specific information. So we can give this a prompt, right? Perhaps there's a red button with some important information, and we can just put extract the red button from this site, right? So we can be really precise with what we're going to extract, which is amazing as well. Right, so now we have Apify, and Apify is another community node. So you're not going to find it natively within n8n. You're going to have to install it as a community node, as I explained you before with this node over here, right? With the Firecrawl node. But yeah, essentially Apify, what is it? Well, where can I even get started? I've used it so much. So Apify is essentially this platform where you can choose between all of the different actors that they have. And what are these actors? Well, actors are essentially programs that you can build, right? I'm going to show you now an actor that I've built. So they are these pieces of code that you can run within their servers in order to perform tasks, mainly scraping information, right? Scraping any data that you can online. So as you can see here, if you coded before, well, you see a lot of code, and you see that we're running inside a Docker container, right? But yeah, anyways, let's go back onto the Apify store. And you can choose to scrape data from so many different platforms and services. So we have a Google Maps scraper over here where we can extract data from Google Maps to find businesses, right? Based on an initial query that we have. Are we looking for restaurants? Are we looking? And I'll show you a similar one to this one because I have it on n8n. We can extract information from TikTok, from Instagram. We can use the Apollo scraper if you're familiar with Apollo to extract leads. We have YouTube video downloader, right? And all that. and they come with either a cost per usage or a monthly cost as well. So with this one, you're paying for usage. Let's find another one. So this one you pay for per 1,000 results, right? So it's, relatively cheap given the information that you can grab from these different platforms, right? If you were to do it yourself, well, you probably need to code. So that's the purpose of all these nodes. It's that, it removes that necessity, all that difficulty, because, people have gone through the way to build these, right? So you can just pay instead of going through the hassle of building it yourself. That's kind of the main thing with this. Right, and you can use these for many use cases as the ones that you've seen in the store. There's so many of them. And I'm going to show you one that I used to use a lot, which is this Google Maps email extractor, with which we can search these in Google Maps. And then if they have a website, we're going to go inside the website and find any details, including their phone information, their emails, as I said, where their business is located, any names of directors or people that own the place, right? It's really, really powerful when it comes to outreach. So I did run this already, okay? So I'm not going to run it again. I'll show you the information now. So let's go part by parts. So we're adding the API key, okay? Which you can find over here, right? Where is it? If I go to settings and then we go on API and integrations, you should be able to copy these, right? Copy that and then paste it over here. So if you open this, you can just paste it there. And now regarding the operation, so we're calling an actor. And this one is a really important one because I see people sometimes calling a few other ones. So, these descriptions are really, really long. But you want to get the one where you run an actor synchronously with input and get dataset items, okay? So what does all this garbage mean? Well, we're running the actor, okay? And when the actor has, the actor is the program, right? That enables you to scrape. Well, the program itself can scrape online, right? And when it's done, when the program finishes running with an input, right? We're giving an input. In this case, we're searching for restaurants in the area. When it's finished, then it's going to put those results into a data set. So I'm going to show you here. It gets put into this data set. And what we're doing in this action over here, we are doing all of these in one shot. So we're running it based on an input, right? The actor. And then we are automatically getting the information from the data set as well. Okay, so we're doing the 2-in-1. Back in the day, probably many months ago, you had to do this manually. There was no native way to do this. You had to run the actor first and then locate the data set and then grab the data set. But now they figured out that this is a better way to do it. So yeah, you can select the actor here, if you have already logged in. I suggest to leave all these as blank, okay? As I said, this is a community node, so you can pretty much add in anything. Not a lot of it is helpful. You can leave this as it is, but if you think that the actor is going to run for more than, seconds, more than 300 seconds, and bump it up. And the max items, put it as 30, but you can also determine it right below. I'm going to show you now. So leave all of this as blank, then toggle the custom body to on, and you're going to see this, okay? You're going to see this custom body, and these are the inputs that we're going to give to the actor, right? So if you're unsure what this all means, well, perhaps go to this Google Maps email extractor, which is the one that we're using now. And you're going to see this beautiful, UI where you can add restaurant, for example. Let's also put a law firm, right? In New York, we're going to look for restaurants and law firms in New York to outreach. The maximum number of places is 50. And you can go ahead and fill in all of the outputs that you can with this, right? Once you're done, then this is going to convert it automatically in a JSON object, which represents the request that you want to send to this actor. You're going to copy that, and then you're just going to paste it here, okay? And that's all. And note that you can make these dynamic. If you switch to expression over here, right? You could have a Google Sheet behind, where you can have all of these, right? If you want to change them, for example. I know I'm going a bit aboard, but just giving you the options of, expanding this, right? And giving you ideas how you could expand this. But yeah, so English language, searching in New York, minimum stars 3, right? Because this is this Google Maps, so there's going to be businesses and restaurants with stars. You can remove this if you want. Max scroll space is 50. We're looking for a restaurant and a law firm, you saw. Skip places that are closed, and we want places with websites in this case, because we're going to crawl in the websites and search for other information. So if you run this, okay, I did run already. We get all this stuff, okay? So let's have a look. We get the right track law, which is the first result. We get the category name, so they're in the legal, they get the address. It's a public, so it's okay to show this. You know, we have everything. We have their website. We have, what else do we have? We have the place ID. So this is the end of the URL. We have a bunch of information that you could use in your advantage, right? And some other comments are hidden. You can do a lot with these scrapers, right? And when I mean a lot, I mean you can do serious stuff, and you could perhaps sell these as well. If you put these, you build on top of these to make a system. So that's pretty much it. That's all for API. Right. One final thing that I want to mention is that if you don't see the actor here in the ID list, then you would go to the Shopify store, choose the actor that you want to list, and make sure to hit the save button. Okay. Once you hit the save button, then make sure to refresh the page. Make sure to give this a little bit of time, and then you should see it over here. Okay. Here's the TikTok scraper. But make sure to get out of here, then come in, let it load like this, and then it should appear. If not, just wait a bit, do it again. Okay. And then you should see it. If for some reason that doesn't work, then you can select it by ID. So you can go back to the TikTok scraper over here. And then if you, let's see if I can zoom in over here. Okay, it doesn't zoom in. You see the URL on top, right? So we have /input, and then before the /, all of that string, you're gonna copy, right? Don't get any of the slashes. You're gonna copy that and then select it here, okay? That's how you select your actor if selecting it with the list doesn't work. You can also select the URL, but I think the ID is a bit more robust. Right, so now we have perplexity. This one is an interesting one. So once again, you're gonna type this. Okay, we're gonna add this on the community node, and you should be able to install it. And perplexity, if you don't know it yet, it's a large language model that is great for doing research online, okay? So if we click on here, you're able to create a blog about the latest updates with Google, okay? So you can choose the model. You can head into the Perplexity site and download the API. You can do custom API call, but chat completion is fine. And you can search whatever you want online. The thing that I love about this is that when you hit test step for whatever prompt that you need, whatever thing that you're looking for, is that it's going to search for any specific information. So it's going to do the blog, right? And then on the way, it's going to add all of the citations that it searched for. So this is the great thing about Perplexity, is that it's grounded to actual website data, which is not that great with stuff like Claude or ChatGPT, right? It's made for doing it like this, right? For really grounding itself with online information. And you can see the sources over here that it uses. So you can imagine if you make a blog with the help of Perplexity, you already have the URLs inside this. And yeah, it's just great. I really like Perplexity. So there you go. That's Perplexity for you. Right, so now we have Superdata. And Superdata is a community node, once again, that allows me to automate a lot of the YouTube tasks that I have. So for me, it's a really big time saver. And although it's not a strictly a automation and scrape online node, I thought that there would be some YouTubers out there watching this video that would find this useful. Because the reality is that I tried looking for a good node to do this with, and there was none except this one, right? So it took me some time to find this one out. So yeah, I'm giving it to you guys here. I use it mainly for transcribing videos, because if you search here and you go on the native YouTube one, there's none that are regarding getting transcriptions. So it's a bummer, but that's why I have this node over here. So if you can see, and I hit that step, then you can see how it separates this, with different timestamps. How long am I talking for? So it's pretty nice because it has, as I said, this kind of duration and offset as well. So I could essentially track how far inside the video I am in order to make these really hard to do. How do you call them? The timestamps, essentially, the timestamps that you see in the descriptions. So with this, I can automate that. essentially, right? I can add the different durations and then, yeah, ask an LLM to batch them into sections, right? So it's really helpful for me. And you can do other stuff. It's not only for YouTube. You can also do it for the web if you need to. And you can scrape a URL if you want. But as I said, I'm mainly using it for YouTube. Yeah, and you would need an API as well. But yeah, that's it for Superdata. Really helpful, really simple, but really helpful. Right, so I left this one as a bonus. I know many of you in the community were talking about OCR, optical character recognition. So I just decided to drop it here because why not? So in this case, we were using Tesseract.js. Whenever you see any mention of JS, right, that means JavaScript. So this tool is written in the JavaScript programming language. And we're essentially extracting text from images. Right? That's what OCR means. And if you see here, I have this this invoice that I just got online, okay, of a McDonald's order, funny enough. And yeah, what we're doing is, yeah, we're just downloading it on Google from Google Drive, right, through the URL. And we're just using Tesseract to extract the text. So if we run this, we see here that we receive it as a binary file, but we can switch it onto table format, and then we see the text that it extracted, right? It's not amazing, right? But it does the job, especially if you do good pictures and whatnot. It should do a good enough job. Yeah, and the good thing about this is that it's, you can have it here as a node instead of calling an API, right? Through an HTTP request, which you can do with Mistral OCR. I suppose Mistral OCR is definitely better than this, but it comes with having to set up an API. So this is just a quick way of doing it. And yeah, once you put it as a community node, you can run it without the need of having an API key or anything. So yeah, it does the job. Cool. So I'm just gonna leave it there. I went through all of them, including the final one as a bonus. And yeah, hopefully you got something useful out of this video, because yeah, I went through these nodes and it personally saves me a lot of time when I'm dealing with mostly automating anything that has to do with online data, right? And then obviously the last two, the YouTube node and the OCR node as well, I do use a decent amount as well. So they all save me a decent amount of time. And you realize that most of them are community nodes as well. So yeah, that's all I wanted to cover. So thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and a follow. I appreciate it. And if you didn't like the video, drop me a comment below telling me why, okay? I'm always open to reading the comments. And if you want to grab this as a template, please join the school community, the free school community that I have in the link, in a link in the description, okay? So yeah, thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon. Bye.